You have seen the photos. A steel island sitting in the middle of the ocean, lit up like a small city, surrounded by nothing but black water in every direction. No coastline, no lights on the horizon. Just 200 miles of open sea between that platform and the nearest piece of dry land. And somewhere inside that structure, a man is asleep. It is 2 in the morning. Below him, machinery is pulling crude oil out of the seabed. Around him, waves are slamming into steel legs the size of skyscrapers. And the only way off this thing, a helicopter, landed its last flight 3 days ago. It will not be back for another 11. He could not leave right now if he wanted to. Not for a fire, not for a family emergency, not for anything. There is no road. There is no boat idling at a dock. There is no walking to shore. He is, for the next 11 days, completely cut off from the rest of the world. And here is the part most people never even consider. He chose this. Sleeping on a metal platform in the middle of the ocean, 200 miles from the nearest human being who is not on that rig, is not some punishment. It is one of the highest paid jobs a person can get without a college degree. And the men and women who do it line up for it. There are 3 layers to this story. The first explains why they are even out there. The second reveals the engineering that keeps them alive and lets them sleep at all. And the third is something almost nobody expects. By the end of this video, you will never look at an oil platform the same way again. So let's start with the obvious question. Why don't they just go home at night? And the answer comes down to one number: 200 miles. A car can't get there. A bridge that long doesn't exist. The only realistic way on or off most offshore platforms is by helicopter, and that flight can take 1 to 2 hours each way over open ocean. You cannot run that commute twice a day for 100 workers. It's not just expensive, it's physically impossible. So the workers don't commute. They move in. The standard offshore rotation is brutal and simple. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Some rigs run 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. And while you're on, there's no such thing as a day off. You work 12-hour shifts, usually 7 in the morning to 7 at night, or the reverse, every single day, for the entire hitch. No weekends, no holidays, 14 days straight. And the reason is money. A producing platform pumps out hundreds of thousands of dollars of oil every single day. Shutting it down, even for a few hours, costs a fortune. So the rig never sleeps. It runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, which means there's always a crew awake and a crew asleep at the exact same time. Half the platform is working, while the other half is trying to get rest just a few steps away. Which brings us to the real problem. How do you actually sleep on a structure that, by design, is never allowed to be quiet? Here's something most people don't realize. A platform like this is one of the loudest workplaces on Earth. You've got drilling equipment, gas compressors, generators the size of buses, and pumps that never shut off. The whole structure hums and vibrates around the clock. On a floating rig, you've also got the ocean itself, waves big enough to move thousands of tons of steel, rocking the entire platform beneath your feet while you try to close your eyes. So engineers had to solve a problem most of us never think about. How do you build a bedroom inside a factory in the middle of a storm? The answer is the living quarters, and it's a piece of engineering most people have no idea exists. It's not just a room. It's a separate, self-contained module, usually positioned as far away from the dangerous drilling and processing areas as the platform allows, sometimes even on its own section connected by a bridge. It's wrapped in blast walls and fire-rated steel, designed to hold back an explosion and buy people time. And critically, it's acoustically isolated and mounted to dampen the vibration coming up through the structure. Step inside and it stops feeling like an oil rig. The hallways are quiet. The cabins are climate-controlled. The lighting is soft. After the wall of noise outside, the silence almost feels unnatural. The cabins themselves are small, think-tight cruise ship, with bunk beds, a little desk, and storage. And on a lot of rigs, they run a system called hot bunking. The day shift worker and the night shift worker are assigned the same bed. While one is on shift for 12 hours, the other is asleep in it. Then they swap. The bed never goes cold and the cabin never goes empty. It's not glamorous, but it's an incredibly efficient way to house more than 100 people on a structure with limited space. And then there's the food, which is the part nobody believes until they've been out there. The galley on an offshore platform serves 4 meals a day, including a midnight meal for the night crew. It's free. It's all you can eat. And it's often genuinely excellent, because when you've stripped a person of their home, their family, their phone signal, and their freedom for 2 weeks straight, food becomes morale. A good cook on a rig is one of the most important people on board. One thing you won't find anywhere on that platform, though, is alcohol. Offshore rigs are strictly dry, not one drink. With heavy machinery, open ocean, and zero room for error, sobriety isn't a suggestion, it's survival. But here's the question nobody likes to ask. What happens when something goes wrong in the middle of the night and the helicopter can't come? Picture it. It's 3 a.m. A storm rolls in faster than forecast. 40-foot waves. Winds that ground every aircraft within range. The helicopter that's supposed to be your lifeline is now useless, parked on land, going nowhere for days. And you are 200 miles out with no other way home. This is exactly the scenario the entire platform is built around. Every worker, before they're ever allowed offshore, has to pass survival training. The most intense part is something called HUET, Helicopter Underwater Escape Training, where you're strapped into a mock helicopter cabin, dropped into a pool, flipped upside down, and have to escape underwater in the dark. Because if a chopper goes down over cold water, the people who survive are the ones who've already practiced getting out. On the platform itself, the last line of defense is the lifeboat, but not the kind you're picturing. These are totally enclosed survival craft, some of them free-fall lifeboats that literally launch off a ramp and plunge nose first into the sea below, sealed tight so they can drop, hit the water, and motor away from a burning platform in seconds. Every person on board has an assigned seat in one, and at any given moment, the rig knows exactly how many souls are on the platform through a constant head count called POB, persons on board, so that if the worst happens, nobody gets left behind. Every worker out there knows the same truth. Help is not minutes away. It's hours away on a good day, and on a bad one, it isn't coming at all. The platform has to be able to save itself. Now, here's what surprises everyone. Ask someone who's spent years working offshore whether they hate sleeping out there, and most of them will tell you the opposite. The first reason is the silence inside that living module after a long shift. No traffic, no notifications, no errands waiting. Just the deep hum of the ocean somewhere beneath you. A lot of workers describe it as the best, most uninterrupted sleep they get all year. The second reason is the rhythm. No commute, no bills to deal with that minute, no decisions. You wake, you eat, you work, you sleep, and someone else handles the rest. For 2 weeks, your entire life shrinks down to a single steel building in the sea. And then you fly home with 2 full weeks off and a paycheck most people would trade almost anything for. So the next time you see one of those platforms lit up alone in the dark, 200 miles from the nearest shore, Don't picture someone trapped and miserable. Picture someone in a quiet cabin, warm, well-fed, rocked by the ocean, sleeping better than you are. Now, I want to hear from you. Could you handle 2 weeks straight on a platform in the middle of the ocean with no way home? Drop a yes or no in the comments. If you've worked offshore, tell us your wildest night out there. I read every single one. And if you learned something today, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.